Darwin.
Oh.
Darwin took Galapagos.
Like did the experiment with the pea plant?
Yeah. Yep. The experience with pea plants. Do you guys remember what he did with the pea plants? Natalie?
He switched their seeds, like
Yeah.
fertilized different things.
Yeah, he cross-fertilized things to see what they'd change. So he took purple flowering plants with white, crossed them, and looked at the offspring, what they look like. Well, Punnett was another scientist.
If you were trying to record us, you could stop recording.
It said like stop recording.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
I don't know. It said like stop. It's 3, 2, 1. So
Let's
you
start.
No, it said stop.
Oh, that's two stop.
So it's recording you saying.
It's recording me and the slides now. All right, so Punnett was another scientist. He followed up Mendel, who was looking at the traits of people. And Mendel had said there was 2 traits for every gene. One comes from the mother, one comes from the father. And he looked really at the statistics and the probability of these traits being passed off from parents to their offspring. And he came up with a method to do that called the Punnett Square. And the Punnett Square just takes those 2 traits from each parent, and then you literally cross them. You put one from each, one from the other in each little square, and then you can figure out what that potential offspring's traits would be, what their genotypes and phenotypes were. So for our first example, we'll look at is a cross between a father, capital T, mother, little t. What's the genotype for the father? What do we call that? Big T, big T.
Dominant.
Dominant. And what's the word before dominant?
Homozygous.
Homozygous. So it's homozygous dominant. So we have a homozygous dominant male. What about this? Little t, what's that called?
Homozygous.
Homozygous recessive.
Oh.
Homozygous, homo means one. You know, the same. It's the same. Hetero means one of each. The homo is the same. It has both letters are the same. Hetero is one of each. So they're both homozygous. We have a homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive. So per Punnett square, how we build one is we take those genes, the genotypes of each parent, put one parent on top, and the other parents along the side. So one letter goes over one set of boxes, the other letter goes over the second set of boxes. And then the other parent goes along the side. And they'll keep both letters for each parent, the same letter, the letters for each parent go on the same side. And then you take the letter from the top and the corresponding letter on the side, and you bring those in together, and you put those together in the box. You have big T from above, little t below.
Does it matter which side of the
It doesn't really. Typically, you put the big T first.
I mean, like.
Oh, no, that doesn't matter. As long as the genotype for each parent is only on one side. You don't switch up. But if you did little t on the top, big T on the side, that's okay too. You'll get the same. The bottom left, we take the big T from the top and the row above it, little t from the row on the side, the big T, little t. For the top right, we have the column of T, big T. Yeah, you're going to just take from the top column, put that in the box, take from the side, put that in the box. The bottom, you do the same process. You take from the letter above that row, or that column, put that in the box. Take the letter from the other parent in that row, put that in the box. And that's our full Punnett square. And you can tell what the probability of the genotypes would be. So what's the genotype of the offspring? What are the possible genotypes from these two parents? Who can tell me the possible offspring? Nate? Big T, small t. And what is the probability? What percentage of those offspring are going to be big T, small t?
Oh, 100%.
Kendall? 100%. How do you know?
Because they're all the same.
Yeah, they're all the same. It's 4 out of 4. So there's 100% chance of being big T, little t, which is what is the genotype called? Heterozygous. What's the phenotype? If we're looking at plant size, tall and short. What is it? It's tall, it's a phenotype, and 100% tall. They're all going to be tall because they're all big T's. Remember, heterozygous will always take that dominant form. What if we caused a heterozygous father with a homozygous recessive mother? We'll take the genotypes from the parents, put them on the top and the sides. We have big T, little t on top, little t on the side. We go ahead and cross each one of those traits. So big T crossed with little t in the first box. In the bottom box, we have another big T from above, little t on the side. The top right, the father is giving a little t, mother gives a little t, so we have little t, little t. We also get another little t on that bottom right corner. What possible genotypes are there for this mating pair? Well, someone hasn't gone that. Haley? Big T, little t. Okay. Are there any other possibilities? Ben? Lowercase, lowercase. Yeah, they're all going to be T and T's. But yeah, lowercase, lowercase. What percentage of the offspring, what probability will they be heterozygous? What is it, Ag? 50-50. Why do you say 50% chance they'll be heterozygous? So there's 2 out of 4 that are the heterozygous. Okay. What percentage would be homozygous recessive? 50%. Why? Half is small t, small t. What percentage would be homozygous dominant? Okay. 50%. 50%. What's the genotype for homozygous dominant? What's that look like? Uppercase, uppercase. Are there any uppercase T's? No. So what percentage would be dominant? 0%. What are the phenotypes of the children? The possible phenotypes. James, what's one of the phenotypes it could be?
Phenotype is short.
Short. Is there another phenotype possible?
Tall.
Matt, is there another phenotype possible in this Punnett square? So is it tall? Is that the only possible type of plant? Sorry? Not medium. Remember what we said about having heterozygous? Well, if it's heterozygous, what's its phenotype always going to be?
Dominant.
That dominant trait. So that's a tall. What about our homozygous recessive? What's the phenotype for that? Short. So what would our traits be for these offspring?
Tall or short.
Tall or short? What percent would be tall, Matt? 50%. What percent would be short? All right, 50%. How do you know it's 50%? Half and half. Well, I mean, these have little t's. Why can't those be short? Abby? Yeah, the big T's overpower that weak one. So in order for it to have that weak phenotype, it has to be homozygous recessive. What if we cross two heterozygous parents? We have big T, and then little t, little t. In our, yeah, big T, little t. Thank you. So in our top right corner, we have two big T's that cross. So they're going to be big T, big T. In the top right corner, we have little t and a big T. So it'll be big T, little t in the box. Same thing with the bottom left. And then in the bottom right, what do we have? Oh, little t, little t. Mike, what genotypes are there? What are some of the genotypes that are possibilities? Kevin?
Big T, big T.
So we have a big T genotype possible. Okay.
A big T, little t, and two little
Big T, and then little t, or sorry, big T, little t, then little t, little t. So our big T, that's one possible genotype that the offspring can become. Big T, little t is another possible offspring, and then little t is the third type for this particular cross. What percentage will be big T, big T? Like what percentage will be big T, big T? How many out of 4? 1 out of 4. So what percentage? Be 25%? So there's 1 out of 4. What about homozygous recessive? What percentage? Try is that a hand? Scratching your ear. Nick?
Wait, homozygous
Recessive.
2 little pisties?
Yeah, 2.
25%?
25%. What about heterozygous?
50%.
50%, because there's 2, so there's half. So we have our 1 big T, 1 out of 4, 25%. 1 little t, 25%, and then 2 of the heterozygous. So 25, 50, 25. Hannah, what phenotypes are going to be present? Yeah, tall and short. What percentage would be tall, Zach? 75%. Who can tell me why 75% is going to be tall? Kendall?
Because the homozygous dominant is 25%, and then the heterozygous is 50%, but the dominant takes over the recessive, so it'd be both heterozygous and homozygous dominant.
Yeah. So we have 75% between the homozygous dominant and heterozygous. Very good. And because the phenotypes of heterozygous will always be that genotype, we have 75% being tall. What percentage would be short then, James?
25%.
25%. Any questions? Give me a thumbs up how we're doing with this. Give you a quiz tomorrow. You good? Would you like some more practice? Okay. Let's give this one a try. Do this one on your own in the next page. So create a Punnett square to show the results of a cross between yellow and green pea seeds. The yellow peas are dominant to green. These are the genotypes for the parents. So you have homozygous dominant parent for 1, big Y, big Y. Homozygous for recessive for parent 2, little y, little y. Create a Punnett square and then figure out which percentage will be yellow, what percentage would be green. All right, who can do the first step of just where the outside from the parent sheets? All right.
Alright, so the top is uppercase Y for both,
Okay.
and then for the side, it's two lowercase y's.
Two lowercase y's on the side. Everybody do that? Looked like
Good.
we all did okay. Somebody do the top left. So this square. Natalie? The big Y, little y. So you get the big Y from the father, little y from the mother. Somebody do the top right. Tatum? Big Y, little y again. Someone do the bottom left. Kendall? What? Heterozygous, so big Y, little y. Good. And then the bottom right. Abby? Big Y, little y. How do we do on that? Perfect. Okay. What percentage of the offspring is going to be yellow? Zach? 100%. How do we know this? How do we know it's going to be 100%, Micah?
Almost always dominates it.
Yeah, all of them are big Y, little y. Very good. And if there's a big Y and then a little y, what does that mean about the trait, the physical appearance? It's always going to take which form? The big Y is form, that dominant form. And our big Y is yellow, so it's all going to be yellow. So if we know 100% of the offspring is yellow, what percentage is going to be green? 0%. Why is it 0%? One or the other. Yeah. We will in a minute, yeah. So you have 100% and 0%. What if they were all big Ys? What would the inside look like? If they're both homozygous dominant. Haley? Yeah, they'd all be big Y, big Y. What percentage would be green? 0, because they're all big Y, big Y. Yellow is the dominant.
Yeah.